Today I'm going to present Michael with a cover. It's a Mascis performance of a Smiths classic called The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. I like the Smiths, and I find out that Michael has never heard of them before. So we're going to fix all that today, find out his opinion on episode 3.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Clay. Michael, how are you?
I gotta tell you, buddy, I am fantastic. I've had a good meal. I've had some good rest. I'm at the hotel in Amsterdam this evening.
Whoa,
And,
with the brags.
Oh yeah,
Just coming in hot.
Well,
Oh man, I'm in Amsterdam. Check me out, man. I had some chicken strips for supper.
I did. I had some chicken strips for supper and a nice tasty beer to wash them down.
Oh boy. Well, I just had a Rice Krispie treat, except instead of Rice Krispies, they're Cocoa Pebbles.
Interesting.
You can imagine.
Yes, it has been quite some time since I've had some Cocoa Pebbles.
Guess what? I have a question for you.
Please fire away.
Have you ever heard a song, you're like, hey, this is a great song. And then you discover years later, this is a cover. And I thought that this song was by this artist, but it's not.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How does it make you feel?
You know,
do you feel silly?
I don't feel silly, no, because
you feel happy?
Just of my lack. I guess it depends on the song and the artist, but I'm trying to think of like the biggest example of that in my life. But there are songs that I know I've heard and just like, oh, this is so good, and then to find out it's a cover. The song "Physical" by 9 Inch Nails. I had no idea that was a cover from I think this is the early 80s or maybe even earlier, but it's an old 80s song by Adam and the Ants.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was like, God, this song rocks. God. And then I hear the original and I was like, oh.
So
well, 9 Inch Nails did it better. So
so what about Blue Monday? You know the song?
I do know that original was crap. Who did the original? I know the
New
Orgy
Order?
cover. New Order, yeah, and Orgy did the cover.
Yeah, which was a banger, I think.
Oh, dude, yeah. Orgy nailed that cover. Yeah.
Yeah. And when that came out, it was whatever, mid '90s. It was. They were
mid late '90s.
They weren't in the new metal thing really, but they were that cyber metal kind of thing that
I was gonna say, yeah, it's
they did that
almost
really
like
well.
They weren't industrial techno rock or something. It was kind of an odd.
Fear Factory comes to mind.
Yeah,
but Fear Factory was way heavier and faster.
Fear Factory was quite a bit heavier. Maybe
faster.
Maybe like KMFDM.
I don't know a whole lot about them.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of along that. Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do. I want to get to the songs.
Okay.
I said I want to get to the songs, Michael.
Songs, plural.
Guess what? I'm springing a little thing on you today. I'm going to play.
All right.
The cover that I first heard and I thought was the OG.
Oh my, okay.
And then I'm going to play. So what I think I'll do, and you know what, we're gonna make a creative choice right now, and decide what we want to do. Which one do you want to hear first? Do you want me to call the shots and say here's what you're doing, or do you want to choose?
Hey man, when you're springing the song on me, you're running the show, so it's up to you.
What I'll do is I will play the one that I very first heard, and then I'll come back and get maybe like a one sentence thought from you, and then we'll play the original. What do you think?
Okay. All right. I like it.
Okay. This is the first one that I heard. This is the cover.
Okay.
And here we go.
All right. So just so the people who are just joining us, my friend Clay here is texting the Spotify link to the song so that I can listen to it and form my opinion. But the live reveal is happening where he will text me the song and I see it, and then I'll decide how to react on the spot. So Hit me. Hit me.
Apologies for that. All right, I'm about to send you the song and get your initial reaction. Then we'll
Okay.
pause and listen to the song. We're new at this, okay? Right?
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a few little growing pains and
These
technical
things take
difficulties,
time.
but they do. They do. But we are getting better.
All right, here it comes.
All right. I can't wait. I'm not even looking. Okay. Text message from Clay Collins. Let's see what this is. J Mascis, the boy with a thorn in his side.
Ever heard of that?
I don't think I have.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I don't think I've heard it. Okay. The boy with a
I'm
thorn in
thrilled.
his side. Okay. All right. All right.
Insert song. Here we go. Ready? The boy with a thorn in his side.
Boy with a
as
thorn in his
performed
side by J
J.
Mascis. As performed by J Mascis. I'm about to go take a listen, and then we'll be back with my initial reaction.
Okay. Here we go.
At this point in the show, Michael and I are going to listen to the entire song, and we recommend you do the same if you can for the best effect. Enjoy.
That was The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. Had you ever heard that song, Michael?
I really can't say that I have, to be honest.
Okay, maybe give me like a one sentence, just initial thought before we launch into the original.
Okay. All right. It's going to be more than one sentence because I can't just come down to one sentence on this. But as a relative newcomer to Dinosaur Jr., I'd say this, definitely fits in their wheelhouse. But all this is J Mascis like attacking this acoustic guitar and singing, and that's it. And I gotta say, J Mascis has a voice that's like
you said attacking that acoustic guitar. That is the word that came to mind when I was listening to it so many times this morning.
Like the
He's
riff,
hammering it, right?
I mean, he's going after it, man.
Okay.
And his voice is like it's not as like, I was going to say that it's an acquired taste, but it's not so hard to acquire as someone like Billy Corgan necessarily. It's not as high of a mountain to
I cannot wait for you to hear the
Billy
original.
Corgan's, but okay, all right. Well, there you go. That's my initial thought. Having never heard the song, I like it, and it's definitely fitting of J Mascis.
Now I'm sending you the link to the original right now. Do you know who the original is by? I've already said that.
I don't. I have no idea.
Okay, great. Okay. Now I've sent that to you, and you can take a look. Tell me if you know about this.
All right. Let's see. The Boy with a Thorn in His Side by the Smiths. Okay.
Yes.
So are we going to break so I can take a listen to the original?
Yep. Here we go.
All right. Okay. Well, we will be right back.
1986.
1986, The Smiths.
The Queen is Dead is the album. 1986. The Smiths. Boy with a Thorn in His Side. Here we go. Well,
we are back. I have listened to The Boy with a Thorn in His Side by The Smiths.
Yes, you have.
And I got to go with J Mascis on this one. Okay, but here's the thing. Generally speaking, I do like originals over covers. But there are just some glorious covers out there that are so different than the originals. And I got to say, okay, I've never heard the J Mascis recording or the Smith recording of this song. I never have. I've only really recently gotten into Dinosaur Jr., and I've never really gotten into the Smiths. I know you've been kind of a fan of theirs for a while there, right, Clay?
Yeah, so it's funny. I really didn't go like a super long time between discovering the original versus. So I found Martin and Me, the CD that this cover came from, and I was in Austin, Texas at Waterloo Records. I remember it, and it was like spring break of 2000 ish or something like that, and I found it, and I was into Dinosaur Jr., and I knew who it was, and I'd heard that it was like kind of a rare find. I don't know how rare it is, but I've never sold it. I've had it, for what 23 years now, I guess, but doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, and then like a few years later, I was in Denton and in Denton, Texas, and I was in a CD store or something, and I found I was just going through CDs like I would do. I was lonely and didn't really have anything to do, and all my friends were in college, and I was in a college town, but not in college. And
Right, right.
so I would just go to CD stores and bookstores and do whatever, and I found the Smiths, and I was like, I was like, I've heard of the Smiths, but I don't know anything about them, and I feel like as somebody who loves music, I should at least have some idea. And so I just took the CD out of the bin, and I walked up to the front and put the headphones on, when you could just, I don't know, you could still do that in a record store, but just walk in and listen to it for a while. And I looked at the back, and that title stood out, and you're like, what? Wait a minute, this the Boy with the Thorn aside, and I was like, I better go look back, and then I realized, okay, I made the connection, but I was like, wow, it's so different, but because there's just this jingle jangle thing with the Smiths, and
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like this kind of. Again, I'm no expert on the Smiths. I just have not listened to them enough to really form an opinion either way. But it just sounded kind of like a derivative pop song to me, like a derivative British pop song to me. Their recording of it.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily care for the voices. Who's the lead singer? Is it
Morrissey?
Morrissey? Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't care much for his voice.
Stephen Morrissey. Okay, so you don't dig the at the end the yodeling that the really the it's not scatting, it's yodeling is the way I think of it.
Yeah, I just it does not do a whole lot for me, and so I have listened to it. It's not going to appear on any of my playlists, and so.
Right.
But I do appreciate the opportunity to discuss this particular track at length. Now, going back to the Jay Mascis recording,
yes,
like I said, his voice is like raspy, and it's almost like sometimes he has to force his voice to come out. It's almost like his singing voice isn't natural for him. Does that make any sense?
Uh-huh.
Does that make any sense? But he has a good singing voice when he's like pushing himself to do it.
Yeah.
And it might not be that way at all, but that's just the way his voice comes across to me, where he kind of has to work for it, but when he's pushing it out there, it's good.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, he's got his own distinct kind of voice, and I can always kind of recognize a Dinosaur Jr. song, and he if you've ever watched interviews with him, his voice, his singing voice matches his speaking voice pretty well, I think.
Okay, all right. I haven't heard a whole lot of.
Really don't. But
I haven't seen or heard a whole lot of interviews.
He's
with
super
him
chill.
Yet, so
he's super chill.
He strikes me as such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just for the people out there to know, we went to see Dinosaur Jr. earlier this year, and we watched him perform in Dallas, and this was prior to me kind of getting in, kind of digging into their catalog a bit, and I knew like one or two songs maybe, and that was it. But they put on a really good show, and they came out, put on their instruments, and just started playing, and they would say, one of the guys, I don't even know if Jay Mascis really talked all that much, but the bass player, I think, addressed the crowd more than any of them did. But
yeah, Lou Barlow.
There you go. they just went out there and rocked, and that was it. And very loud show. I was glad I had my earplugs, but
Yeah, they're notorious. They're not Spinal Tap loud, but they are loud.
and for anyone
Traditionally.
out there who has not seen a picture or watched a video or been to a live show of theirs, Jay Mascis has 3 towering stacks of
Usually,
speaker cabinets
usually,
behind
yeah.
him and they're arranged where they all kind of face his back while he's playing, and it's just this.
Yeah, welcome to Clay and Mikey's Gear Corner.
Yeah, and it's
It's not a gear
wild
show,
to
but
see.
it is a safe place.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's wild to see, but it puts out such a good, even, clean, loud sound, and yeah.
He says he likes the way it feels on his backside whenever it's cranked up.
Well, I believe it.
You can hear the sound waves on.
He ought to be feeling it. He ought to be feeling it pretty good because, dang, I mean, he looked like, I don't know how tall he is, but these stacks are easily about a foot or more higher than him.
So these lyrics, Michael, they don't do anything for you. The boy with a thorn in his side. Behind the hatred there lies a murderous desire for love.
Correct.
How can they look into my eyes? Still they don't believe me. He's so dramatic, like really melodramatic and emo. And for whatever reason, at the time that I discovered the Smiths, it spoke to me in some kind of way that I don't know, but their songs, I mean, we talk about lyrics sometimes they're meaningful and sometimes they're just words and sometimes they're placeholders for music and sometimes it doesn't matter. But yeah, this with the Smiths, I was able to sing along with a lot of them and just think like they're just so melodramatic and but they're interesting, and for me they make me smile. I just have not been able to stop smiling all morning since this song came to me, and I listened to it several times in a row, and then the J version, and I
feel like I've
my morning so much
I feel like I've disappointed you in some kind of way, having not just fallen in love with this song in some manner, because I like the J Mascis cover. Indifferent at best on the Smiths version.
The Smiths version is probably about two minutes too long.
I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. So
I sent a Smith song to you and Chris the other day, and I didn't get any response from either one of you. I don't believe.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. Don't know. No, it's funny because we send each other lots of songs, and there's just no way we can possibly listen to all of them, but I think I sent one and I said like, I never heard what y'all's opinion is on the Smiths, and it was just crickets. And then
well, I guess that's all you need to know.
Well, this is great to know. You know what? Now I finally have my answer. I know how Michael feels about the Smiths in general. Maybe there might be some other songs that grab you, but
is there like one? Is there one track or song that they're like really known for above and beyond all others? Or I seriously don't know that much about them, other than the fact that Morrissey sings for them.
I don't think they were a band.
British.
Yeah, I don't think they were like a a platinum selling artist or anything. They're just they're really well known and they have their audience, and but.
They're not small. I'm looking here, and it's like the Smiths. They're little write up on Spotify, and they've got 13.5 million monthly listeners. So they're no small thing.
Right.
They formed in 1982.
But I think in their heyday, whenever they were a thing, I don't think they were ever like a huge thing. Anyway, Morrissey's a really interesting character, and he's got an autobiography that he put out, and I've heard it's unhinged.
Well,
really,
a few of the things I've heard does not surprise me, and
it's so interesting though. This it's rock star kind of thing. for some reason it's so interesting. Anyway, you're not into it.
I just.
All right, I got
mean,
one
so
other
like
thing
their
now.
their top song here, it seems like it's called "There Is a Light That Never Goes Out" or
Yep.
something like that. I don't know. It's got 471 million plays on Spotify. I mean, that's a big freaking
Oh,
deal.
it's huge. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
huge.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're right.
Anyway, yeah, you were saying.
I think over the years they've become more well known and recognized. Obviously, I just don't. I just don't think like at the time that they were active that they were a big thing.
Like,
Is all I was saying.
kind of like in
My apologies
retrospect,
to.
people have come along to them like in retrospect, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh,
They
okay.
become
Well,
more.
maybe down the road, so a song will speak to me or something. I don't know, but
No, I don't think it will. It's not looking good. You ain't got to lie, Craig.
Yeah, you ain't got to lie. Oh man!
All right, I will say there was one other version. There's a few covers of this on Spotify. There was one more by Jeff Buckley.
Okay, all right. Jeff Buckley's
and
good.
I'm not gonna make you listen to it, but it's beautiful.
Okay.
If you're on
tell me
team
this.
if you're on Team Clay in this episode, I'm not gonna put it on, but it's.
But just go check it out, right?
Yeah. Now
let me ask you this. Since you're obviously a bigger fan of the Smiths than me. What like if you had to narrow the
I think you're coming around.
I think you heard wrong. What would you say, like, if you had to pick one or two songs of the Smiths, what would they be? Like
that one grabbed me first
to put on your
I
desert island iPod.
Okay.
What one or two songs of the Smiths would you put on there? Would this one be one of them, or
it would be on my list? Yes. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that's like really into the Smiths to be able to say,
Well, apparently there's 13.5 million other
I'll
people
tell
just
you.
like you out there.
Here we go.
I do not count myself as one of them, but
I'll give you a top 5. Here you go. You ready?
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
This Charming Man.
Okay.
Okay. Panic.
Okay.
Is good. Girlfriend in a Coma. It's a good one. And then I'll say Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now. Those are mine. Those are good.
Interesting.
Another one called Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others.
Okay.
I heard that one this morning. It kind of came on. I was cooking and that one came on. Like, just, I didn't pick it. It just came on after. It made me laugh. It's pretty funny. The lyrics are just bananas. You can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
It really had me giggly. I've been giggling a lot today. It's been a good day.
Well, it has been a good day, and even though this song kind of fell flat with me, I've enjoyed getting to talk about it. Man, I feel so bad. I feel bad, but you know what? The course of this show,
I love it.
I do plan on eventually springing a song on you, and I've already got one picked out just for this purpose that I know I love it, and you're going to be like, "Why are you making me listen to this?"
It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. You know what? I took a shot, and that's what part of the show is about. I'm going to take a shot.
Yes,
I'm putting stuff that is outside. It's kind of outside of your comfort zone.
Of course,
not really in your wheelhouse. And I knew that the Smiths wasn't really. It had the potential to really not be your thing, and I predicted correctly. But
you did.
It was great to hear your reaction because you'd never heard it, but I didn't know you'd never heard of it. So
but I listened to both versions. I can appreciate Jay Mascis' version. I don't appreciate the Smiths version. It's terrible. It's like I'm just dogging your selection, but that's the whole point. All right.
Yeah.
It's to drive discussion.
Well,
And
I know that whenever the roles are reversed, I won't pull any punches either. But
and I hope you don't.
and
I
we
hope
know
you don't.
not to be offended with one
Of
because
course. Of
there's
course.
lots of music and everybody's got their own opinion and there's plenty of room for everybody. So
Absolutely.
well, with that, I believe we can draw this particular episode to a close.
Man, I appreciate. I like that you found. I really like that you found a cover, and then kind of brought me back around to the original. I really like that, and I'm going to make some notes to come up with some songs like that myself for down the road. Not the next episode, mind you, but I'm gonna have an ear open for some covers that I want to spring on you, and maybe see if I can surprise you a bit. But
Cool.
this was
All right,
good.
brother.
This was good.
Well, take your vitamins, say your prayers. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show today. If you enjoyed it, feel free to listen to the rest of our catalog and share it with your friends. Go ahead and follow us. And you can find me on Instagram at Clay Dang Collins. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.